behalf of the United States Army Chaplain Center and School, it is a real privilege for me to bid you welcome and congratulations to your new building and this time of dedication. Being a Southern Baptist chaplain endorsed by our Home Mission Board and receiving that endorsement because of my ordination and selection by an individual local congregation, it gives me extreme joy today to be here and sharing this moment with you. I went back this past week and looked on a wall in my office, and I saw a little memento that I have that was presented to me by a local church in Tennessee. It was a memento of my coming on active duty in the chaplaincy. And that was a church that licensed and ordained me, and it was a church that has stood by me in prayers and support through the years that I've served as an Army chaplain. And as I think about the significance of the local church, I look out and I see the empowerment of the body of Christ reaching out into the lives and community of men and women all around the world. And that's what we're celebrating here today, is the embodiment of Christ within this fellowship of believers. And this embodiment has survived some hardships and some trials and some tribulations through the power of the presence of Christ. And I go back and I think of Nehemiah chapter 4, where in spite of the hardships, they were given a mission by God, and they completed the wall, the task that had been given, because they had a mind to work, a heart to pray, and an eye to watch. And that's what this congregation has done. In spite of the discouragement from some, they have sought and followed the encouragement from God Almighty and have been empowered by His Spirit. And we rejoice with you today, as it is truly a great day in this service of dedication. God bless you all.
So glad that these fellows are short-winded because I'm not. I had 30 minutes this morning, and that wasn't enough. So I just wanted to warn you that I've come to finish. In fact, I asked Dr. Brown if he would introduce me this morning because he says the nicest things. I'm tempted to ask him to come introduce me again. He can do it better than I can. But nevertheless, I'm excited about being here, and of course, Sam is here. And this is a very wonderful experience for us. Though you didn't plan it exactly in commemoration of this particular day, 25 years ago, but it happens to be an anniversary. In fact, it was on this day, 25 years ago, that we did something very significant. And in going through bulletins, and I'm a great believer in bulletins. In fact, this is a historic bulletin that you have, and I've picked up an extra 50 of them. They'll go out all over the country, and perhaps around the world a few times. But we need to share the Lord's blessings, and that's what we're doing today. However, in going through bulletins, I happened to find the month of August. Now, I do have one bulletin for every Sunday for almost 9 years. But you wouldn't want me to read all those to you, I know, because I'm not sure how many that is, about 450 probably. But I did to pick out the ones for October the 10th, which was the second Sunday of 1965. Just to take you back in memory and to refresh your mind of where we have come from. Very little has been said about the first year of this church. I'm sure that much could be said about what happened that first year. But it happened to be the first anniversary. The first anniversary of the constituting of this church was the first Sunday that Ab and I came along with Jamie, wherever she is, as pastor and family, of the Monmouth Baptist Church. Now this happened to be about a month later, this particular Sunday, but it talks about the Church of Christ property in Eatontown being considered as a potential place for our future meeting. Their congregation has united with the Church of Christ in Red Bank. A meeting is being planned, being held this afternoon, to consider working out the details of a lease. We should know definitely by tonight if an agreement can be reached. Now, of course, that was on this date, the second Sunday of October 1965, 25 years ago. Now, of course, I always have to follow through on the next bulletin to see what happened that particular Sunday. Incidentally, on that particular Sunday, we had 65 enrolled, 70 were present, and 82 attended worship. Now, I would take that percentage almost any time, wouldn't you? And those were high percentages. But then the next Sunday, I hurried along to see what we did. But in the meantime, we have attended the annual meeting of the Metropolitan New York Baptist Association, which met at Farmingdale Baptist Church, where Larry Walker was the pastor. That was quite an experience. I'll never forget that trip. Kenneth Badges drove, and I repented several times that hour and a half. We had about six decisions that day. Because being from Alabama, by the way of North Carolina, I had never seen traffic like that before. But I have since. I went to the association meeting yesterday with the Reverend Darwin Macon driving, and he had several decisions on the way up there too. Well, I hasten on to the third Sunday of October, and incidentally, this is an exciting bulletin because it tells us that we're there. Welcome to this historic occasion. This is the first Sunday in our new building. Now, if you didn't look at the date, you would know where we were, would you? Truly, it is an answer to prayer. The Church of Christ in Eatontown has united with the Church of Christ in Red Bank, thereby making it possible for us to lease their church facility. According to the cornerstone of the church building, it was constructed in 1905 and was first used by the Advent Church. We are the third denomination to use this building, but we are very grateful to the Church of Christ for leasing it to us with an option to buy. And of course, those of you who've been around a long time know that that church was bought and later the property that was sold in order to help relocate and to build this beautiful facility. As I shared with the people this morning, this is a day of beginning. Now, a lot of us won't be here for the 50th anniversary, Bob. You will, I'm sure. How will you be then? But when you look back on this date, what year would that be? I can't add up that much. But I know that we're going to look back and think about today as a day of beginning, because a lot of great and wonderful things have taken place in these last 25 years. But I predict that even greater and more wonderful things will take place in the next 25 years. If they do, I don't know how you'll be able to stand it. In spite of all the discouragements, all the tears, all the heartaches, as the song says, it will be worth it all. It has already been worth it all. Last of all, I want to commend this church because I believe it's a very rare breed of a church that will determine to be a church starter, a church planted, even before the word church planted became popular. This church was willing to deny itself to start other churches. And of course, you know the history of growing 10 churches from 10 chapels in 10 years. We didn't do that. We did grow 5 churches from 5 chapels in 5 years. And of course, since then, as you will probably hear later, you have more than 10 churches and chapels and mission outreaches now. So God is using the cluster of churches in New Jersey, Monmouth County. And we had to decide whether we try to build a super church or to start new churches. And Now, of course, these churches have started churches, and these churches that were started are already planning to start more churches, and that is the New Testament pattern of starting churches. And I'm so thrilled and delighted to be a part of it. Thank you.
I have two vivid recollections of Monmouth County. My first visit was in 1968 to that property that Barbie just talked about, and I was cloistered in a small room with big men, Marvin Hare, Bud Beaudry, and some other guys, and we began to pull out Marvin's map that looked like he had been having dark practice. For there he had pinpointed the dream. 10 churches in Monmouth County in 10 years. Now, some of those pins were moved because there were several holes there, and I'm sure they've been moved again, Marvin. But I am privileged to remember that memory and to have been the pastor of the first constituted church that was the result of that dream, the Calvary Baptist Church in Aberdeen. And I bring you greetings today and congratulations from your daughter, Calvary, as well as the Asbury Park Haitian Church, the Colts Neck Baptist Church, and its bishop, the Howell Baptist Chapel, the West Monmouth Baptist Church in Freehold, and from Calvary. Now, here's the good news: the Freehold Christian Center, the Spanish church, the Monmouth County Korea Church, which meets at our facility, the Agape Bible Christian Fellowship Philippine congregation, which meets at our facility, and First Arabic Church, which also meets at our facility. Now, we do have 10 active Southern Baptist congregations. We also have 2 real good friends that we're courting and nurturing that are Chinese. And hopefully one of these days, they're already Baptistic. Now, they just haven't been Baptist yet, but they're Baptistic in their doctrine, and they may join up with us. And as of 2 weeks ago, your children have had grandchildren and great-grandchildren. The Agape Christian Fellowship started its first mission out on Long Island, as a matter of fact, just 3 weeks ago. And the First Arabic Church has started 2 missions, one in Yonkers and one near Plainfield. So we rejoice that the spirit of this beginning church has prevailed in church planting and church starting. Now, the second vivid memory I have of Monmouth County is a journey that we took from here to visit where I was to become the mission pastor in now Aberdeen. And just outside the community, there was a big sign that said, "Levitt builds homes." Now, any of you who know anything about my community know that it was a mushroom building program done by Mr. Levitt. And that sign never sat well with me because I never could understand how Mr. Levitt could build homes. I found out that he could build houses. He didn't do it well, but he built them. He did it fast, but he never built a home. And I say that to say that this building does not make a church. It houses a church. And what you dedicate today is the house that surrounds the church. God bless.